Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and hello all dear viewers and listeners. You are with Sratanoli the researcher. Today guys I'm going to discuss a very catchy and interesting topic of literary theory, which is structuralism. So as I made a video on psychoanalytical literary theory, Russian formalism, this is the third video on my series Literary Theory and Criticism, Structuralism. So the route map and module for this presentation will be, first of all I will be dealing with the history of structuralism. Then I will tell about major concept of structuralism, the major figures that helped in the formation and the formation of this literary theory. And afterward I'll discuss briefly Ferdinand de Saussure's concept and has four major binaries, which he has discussed in his groundbreaking book of Structuralism course in the journal Linguistics, which he has published in year 1916. Afterward, towards the end, I will discuss the contribution of Roman Jackbson, Valdimir Propp, and will quickly discuss certain models of structuralism. And at the last, I will present certain faults of structuralism. So without wasting time, we are beginning with the history of structuralism. So before history, we would look at the basic meaning of structuralism is that this theory proposes that everything exists in a structure. There is nothing which exists outside of the structure. For example, if we took the example of our houses are made up of bricks. So when we put one bricks or another, then we have gotten a structure. Likewise, when we place sentences in order, we get the structure of essay. So example is valid on poetry, novel, dramas, because in the genre certain elements are combined, then a specific structure is formed. For example, in the case of poetry, we have got rhythm, meter, poetic devices. So when these sort of things are combined, so a new structure is formed. So this is called structuralism. So as far as the history of structuralism is concerned, we can relate to the history of structuralism to the 1950s and 60s of France. And the root cause and the major book which laid down the foundation of structuralism is the Ferdinand de Saussure's book Course in the Journal Linguist, which was written in Swiss, as he was a Swiss linguist. So that book was being published in English during 1959. So we can trace back the history of structuralism to the 1960s. So after that, we can see that structuralism is a set of principles that are used to discover underlying formula in a structure. As we know that the language is central to the structure. If there is no language, then there is no concept of culture. No, we can say the no concept of religion even. That because language is central for human being communication. Without language, there is we can't say that there is existence of human being, because human beings are vocal, social, so language is necessary part of their lives. So after that, as I said, that the next headings in this video lecture module is major figures. As far as the structuralist literary theory is concerned, we have got the major figures like Ferdinand de Saussure was a Swiss linguist. Afterward, we have got Roman Jackbson was a Russian American. Then Valdimir Propp was a Russian folklorist who worked on the Russian folklores. And then we have got Lev Strauss, Ronald Barthes, and many other structuralists. We have even sometimes include the Derrida and Foucault and the structuralists, and then afterward they become a post-structuralist and deconstructionist literary scholars. So after discussing the major figure, we are now going towards going to comprehend the major concepts of structuralism. As far as structuralism is concerned, the very major uh, point is that everything exists in structure. There is nothing outside the structure. Second point is that nothing is unstructured. It means that nothing is understood in isolation. Everything exists in a certain context. So as far as the structuralists are concerned, they study the meaning. They say that the meanings are within the text. There are nothing outside the text. As Jack Reader said that nothing is outside of the text. So text is a central or prime focus of structuralist. And then we have got there are binaries relationships are pair are the binaries relations are present and text with the help of which we understand the text. Then we see that there are the functions are present in the text, a function of sender and receiver. So these are the communicative chain is present in the text. As far as structurists are concerned, they study the text synchronically, mean at one time. They prefer the synchronic study of the text. As far as we discussed that Ferdinand de Sauusre was the major and the champion figure in this literary theory of structuralism. So as now we are going to discuss the four major binaries which Ferdinand de Sauusre has discussed and has worked a course in the journal Linguistic. So he came up with four binaries. First of all, he said that the language can be studied in both ways. Which both ways? Synchronically and diachronically. So what is synchronic study? Synchronic study is a historical study of language. It is a study of language at one period or at one specific period of time or point of time. It is a so Ferdinand de Sauusre personally preferred the synchronic study of the language. The second study of language is called diachronic study of language, which is historical study of the language. And diachronic linguistic, we compare two languages, means that languages, two dialects, means that we study the language of today by comparing with the past language. So it is a diachronic language, and diachronic languages we employ different time period at different point of time. After it, the second, now I'm going toward the second binary which Ferdinand de Sauusre has discussed. He said that the meanings are understood in two ways. Means in the form of signifier and signified. In the process of the meaning formulation, there is a signifier. Signifier is a text, word, or verbal sign, and there would be a signified to which this signifier is representing. Signified is concept image. For example, we are saying that cat. This cat is a verbal. This is a text. So this cat is representing an animal having 4 feet. So we know the structure of cat in our mind. So cat is a cat because cat is not bad. So this is the finding of Ferdinand de Sauusre regarding this, and he says that the relationship between signifier and signified is arbitrary. What does it mean, arbitrary? Means that the relationship between signifier and signified is not fixed. Might be cat represents something and else in other part of the words. For example, cat represent cat, which is called cat in English language. As far as our cultural background, Urdu is concerned, we can say Billy, not cat. So this relationship is arbitrary, not permanent. So as far as third binary is concerned, Ferdinand de Sauusre said that linguistic meanings are understood through two ways. What is syntagmatic study and so there is paradigmatic study. Syntagmatic study is always on horizontal axis. Which axis? Horizontal axis. It is concerned with syntax and metaphorical meaning. For example, this is a cool t-shirt. This is syntagmatic meaning, while the pragmatic meaning is concerned with the pragmatic means that the meaning in a particular context. It is always on a vertical axis, and it is a concern with the morphological, lexical, and phonological meaning. For example, as in the case of the syntagmatic meaning, we said that this is a cool t-shirt, while in this case, we said that this is a hot, super nice, and sexy t-shirt. So this is pragmatic shift. So both of the axes are equally important in the sentence, because if the word are misspelled, then we are left nowhere. If word are mispronounced, the same is case, we are left nowhere, because we can't understand the meaning well. So both the axes are really important in the signification and the process of sign and in the getting of the meaning. Um, then now I'm going to quote Plato, as he said that ideas are more important than matter. He preferred signified, while Karl Marx says that it is a matter that determines consciousness. It is a matter that determines consciousness, not consciousness determines our matter. And another place, Marx says that the tool in your hand determines your language, means that I have got a pen in my hand, so this tool represents that I am related with an academic field. Someone has got a driver has got a steering wheel in his hand, and so that tool represent, that tool spokes that he's a driver. So so that the tool in your hand determines your language. So this is a very, very novel thing which Karl Marx spoke. Now we are heading toward the fourth binary that Ferdinand de Sauusre has discussed, which is very significant. Intriguingly, la langue and la parole. La langue. What does la langue represent? La langue is language, utterance, while la parole is literature, means that a written script or text. La langue is an abstract shape, while la parole is a concrete shape. Because when we write down the script, jot down the script, it is now in the concrete aspect, while the ideas in our mind are in the abstract state, while Ferdinand de Sauusre preferred la langue or la parole. Then after discussing the concepts of Ferdinand de Sauusre, now I'm quickly relating to the concept of Jackbson, as we discussed in the Structuralist Literary Theory, which is, he spoke of 6 communicative functions that are present in every text. The first is sender. There is a sender, there is a speaker who speaks, then there is a receiver, a text. When a text is written, the writer acts as a sender, while the audience while the readers act as a receiver. Then we have got a message. What is a message? Message is a written extract. Then we have got a context, then a particular context, a meaning is conveyed, a message is being written. Then afterward there is a channel, there is a mode through which a message is being delivered. Afterward there is a code. So this is Jackbson's concept of structuralism. Afterward, Valdimir Propp, who was a Russian folklorist who studied the Russian folk tales and devised the method for the study of the folk tale, as his method consists of the phases. First of all, he said that there is a narrative, and he divided the narrative in an action, and then action are divided into the function. Valdimir Propp has termed out 8 action and 31 function that are being observed in a Russian folktale and other Eastern folktale. So this model is very useful. Afterward, Bakhtin came up with another model. This model is a little bit upgradations of Valdimir Propp's model. Bakhtin's, first of all, in Bakhtin model, there is a narrative. Then his narrative is divided into action. Action is into function. Here is the difference lies between Valdimir Propp and Bakhtin. Here Bakhtin divided the function into the indices and cardinals. Indices is mean that what is the text representing, mean the tone and other thing, messages and other, and cardinals. Then indices are further divided into the proper and informal, while the cardinals are divided into nuclei and catalyzers. Uh, there are certain various other models in structuralist literary theory, which is Gray-Moss models, Lebow's model, Chairsman models. As these models are, and thinking to be, I'm thinking to make a video on these models separately. So keep watching my channel. Uh, I will make a videos on these models separately. Afterward, I'm now looking towards the last section of my this video module, which is the criticism on this literary theory, structuralism. So structuralism answers the question, and it answers the question of what and how, but it fails to answer the question of why. Then this failing is being refilled by the post-structuralist theory, and then post-structuralism answered the question of why, along with answering the question of what, how, and why. Then it is again existentialism, and they said that nothing exists in isolation, everything exists in a structuralism. According to them, the linguistic correctness is moral correctness. So this is all on structuralism. If you guys really like this video, then do tell me in comment section, and keep watching my YouTube channel and subscribe this channel for further videos on literary theory and criticism. So bye till next video. Take care.